After 20 days in jail, the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu Jayalalithaa has been granted bail by the Supreme Court. The former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister has been in the Bangalore jail for almost 3 weeks now, since the 27th of September. She was convicted in a disproportionate asset case and sentenced to 4-year prison with over 100 crores in penalty. The 66-year-old had sought bail on account of her age and health. She said she suffers from diabetes, hypertension, cellulitis and other ailments. The Supreme Court has given her relief after a personal assurance that she will stay at home till the 18th of December, when the case comes up for hearing next. These shots coming in right outside Pose Garden, the residence of the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. These celebrations were a little premature just about 2.5 weeks back, when the High Court in Karnataka had rejected the bail plea. But the celebration now complete, with the Supreme Court giving conditional bail to Jayalalithaa. The Supreme Court on Monday itself had agreed to hear an out-of-turn bail plea of former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. Otherwise, Jayalalithaa in all probability would have spent Diwali in prison. Now, this out-of-turn bail plea was heard at the insistence of senior advocate Fali S. Ranuman, who had requested a bench headed by Chief Justice H.L. Dattu for an urgent hearing. Well, the case was heard, she's been granted bail and the term suspended. We'll keep getting you details of this bail plea that was entertained and then accepted by the Supreme Court. But let's get in reactions coming in at this point of time.
The issue on which the bail was considered today by the Supreme Court was the fact that the Karnataka High Court has not yet decided on whether the judgment should be, the sentence should be suspended or not. On that basis, they said that the appeal which is pending before the Karnataka High Court must be heard expeditiously. They laid down the timeline that by December 18th, before the Supreme Court, all the paper books necessary for an appeal by Ms. Jayalalithaa and her associates, running into over 35,000 pages, will be filed. Not 1 day extension will be given. If they do not complete this process by December 18th, then the bail will be cancelled.
All right, that's the latest coming in celebratory mode in Pose Garden outside the Chief Minister's the former Chief Minister's residence at Chennai. We're going to cut across to Srisha Reddy, who's getting us the very latest from there. We also have our executive editor in the studio, Javed Ansari, giving us the political implication, the impact of this bail order. Jayalalithaa now will be back in Chennai. And before we cut across to Jaskirat for the bail conditions, I'd like to quickly dip in to the reactions of the lawyers that are coming in.
Let everybody be ready first.
Ready? We'll just do it once. Just hang on. Let everybody just get ready.
Black money?
Now, what is the application that has been moved by Centre today in the Supreme Court pertaining to black money?
All right, we're going to cut across to that in a short while from now, but back to our continuous coverage on the story. These celebratory images that are filtering in come from Pose Garden, the residence of the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, giving you a pan perspective on what this actually means for Tamil Nadu, for AIDMK, for Jayalalithaa, who's been in jail since the 27th of September. In the studio with us, executive editor Javed Ansari, giving us perspective on the political implication of this bail plea that has been entertained and granted. We'd also cut across to Jaskirat Singh Bawa, my colleague, reporting from the Supreme Court. He'd be getting us the conditions of the bail, and of course Srisha Reddy right in the thick of action of these celebrations. These celebrations a little premature 2.5 weeks ago, when the bail plea was rejected by the High Court. Today stand complete, with the Supreme Court giving the go-ahead for the bail. Would like to cut across directly to Jaskirat first. Jaskirat, can you quickly take us through the conditions that have been set for this bail? All right, you know what, we're getting to know Jaskirat audio just being patched, so we're going to get you the conditions of the bail plea, some of which had been touched upon by the petitioner Subramaniam Swamy, where he had gone ahead and said that the bail plea was not contested in Supreme Court, something which we will confirm from Jaskirat. And most importantly, that Jayalalithaa will have to be under detention till the 18th of December when the case comes up for hearing again. I believe we have Jaskirat with us. Would like to cut across to Jaskirat at this point of time. Jaskirat, quickly take us through the stringent conditions under which Jayalalithaa, the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, has been accorded bail. Jaski, can you hear me? All right, we don't have Jaskirat at this point of time. We have T.S. Sudhir, our editor South, and our executive editor in the studio, Javed Ansari. Before I cut across to T.S., a quick comment from our executive editor. Javed, what does this quite mean for AIDMK? Pretty much a rudderless government till now. And now, even though under stringent conditions, the Supremo of the AIDMK, as she's seen by the cadre especially now, is back in her state.
Well, it means a lot, and it comes at an opportune moment. Today is the Founders' Day of the party, and it also means that the government will now have some sense of direction. There is something for the beleaguered supporters of the AIDMK leadership to cheer about, and perhaps it might breathe some fresh life into a government that was tottering, and into a chief minister who didn't know where he was headed. So perhaps this would mean a lot, and it comes as a huge shot in the arm for the AIDMK government.
Doesn't it, Sudhir? Because till now, the chief minister in place, O Paneerselvam, other than how he's perceived outside, was not quite taken seriously by the cadre of AIDMK itself.
Well, yes, as Javed was pointing out, for an AIDMK party and cadre which was really having its back to the wall, this comes as a shot in the arm. Jayalalithaa out of prison would be enthusing the cadre which was actually in pretty much a state of demoralization for the past 20 days or so. Now the fact that she is out and the fact that she has come out on the foundation day of the AIDMK, they would really read it as a good sign. As far as the government is concerned, yes, the Chief Minister will not have to travel to Bangalore every time to actually discuss or seek Jayalalitha's advice. He just needs to go till Poise Garden. But importantly, the conditions that the Supreme Court has actually imposed while granting bail are also significant. They have said not a day more than the 18th of December for Jayalalithaa and her legal team to actually submit the 35,000-page paper book, and they have said that if there is 1 day's delay, they will cancel the bail. And even for the next 2 months, she will have to be inside home at Poise Garden, because essentially it's on health grounds that the bail has been granted. So they have imposed these conditions on the former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. But yes, for the AIDMK cadre, this would definitely come as a huge relief.
A huge relief, a shot in the arm for the AIDMK. As Sudhir was pointing out, the conditions of the bail set. We're going to get you those conditions. We're going to cut across to Jaskirat, who's been tracking details of this case in the Supreme Court, and he'll be taking us through the stringent conditions under which the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has finally been accorded bail. To give our viewers perspective, 27 September. That's the date since Jayalalithaa has been in bail. She spent over 20 days and in all probability would have even spent Diwali. And that was not the case, primarily why? Because an out-of-turn hearing for her bail plea was accorded at the request of senior advocate Fali S. Nariman, who requested a bench headed by Chief Justice H.L. Datu for an urgent hearing on Jayalalitha's bail plea. She's been accorded bail on health grounds. She had petitioned that she is a woman, she is suffering from various ailments, and she should be given bail. And Subramanian Swamy, the petitioner, when he did come out, he had gone out and stated that the bail petition was not contested in the Supreme Court. Massive celebrations all across the state of Tamil Nadu. Would like to take you right in the midst of those. Shrisha Reddy, my colleague, joining us from there. Shrisha, celebrations which were premature just about 2.5 weeks ago now stand complete.
Well, exactly, Preeti. If I can ask my camera person to pan in and show you, it's heavily raining in Chennai, but this has not...
All right, with all that din, and understandably so, which is on right outside Poise Garden, we can barely hear Shrisha Reddy, but these are the visuals that she's sending us. We're trying to patch and clear that audio connect so we can get in reactions from the AIDMK cadre. Shrisha, if you can still hear me, if you can just ask your camera person to pan, get in reactions. All right, I doubt if Shrisha can hear me at this point of time. You can see her slightly perplexed, and understandably so, with the massive noise and din that is what Poe's Garden looks like at this point of time. Just about 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks ago, there were celebrations, premature, and then suddenly there was a somber mood when the High Court in Karnataka rejected the bail plea. Well, today it's not to be. It's also come for the AIDMK cadre at the auspicious occasion of the foundation day of the party. It's raining heavily. Reactions coming in.
We are really very happy, and we are being ready to welcome the King of India, our honorable one and only Amma.
That's right. So today is Diwali. More at the AIDMK men.
All right, Shisha, we can hardly hear you, but we did get that reaction of that man dancing there. Just in the morning, the same people had spoken to Srisha and said that this time they will only open that box of sweets when they get a confirmation that Amma, like they called her, has gotten bail. Would like to take you through the conditions on which Jayalalithaa has been given bail. My colleague Jaskirat Bawa is coming out with the very latest, but before we cut across to him, I'd like to take you through the petitioner, Subramaniam Swamy, touched upon some of the stringent conditions under which Jayalalithaa has been granted bail. Let's listen in and then we'll get in reporter reactions.
Issue on which the bail was considered today by the Supreme Court was the fact that the Karnataka High Court has not yet decided on whether the judgment should be, the sentence should be suspended or not. On that basis, they said that the appeal which is pending before the Karnataka High Court must be heard expeditiously. They laid down the timeline that by December 18th, before the Supreme Court, all the paper books necessary for an appeal by Ms. Jayalalithaa and her associates, running into over 35,000 pages, will be filed. Not 1 day extension will be given. If they do not complete this process by December 18th, then the bail will be cancelled.
All right, let's get to the conditions under which Jayalalithaa, the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, has been given bail by the Supreme Court. I believe they are stringent, touched upon right now. You just heard Subramaniam Swamy. Jaskirat Singh Bawa, I believe, is finally patched through to us. Jaskirat, the Supreme Court hearing the petition out of turn and then granting bail to Jayalalithaa. Can you take us through each of the conditions set for this bail?
Well, I'm not really sure how to say that it's been heard out of turn, because it was mentioned on Monday, listed on Friday, so it actually came up as per a list and not as per urgent mentioning. So that question is out. However, as far as the Supreme Court's conditions are concerned, yes, it is true that being granted bail within a day itself is not often seen. However, this is a very stringent conditional bail that has been given. On December 18th, if a proper appeal is not filed in the High Court, even a 1 day delay, because this is something that the opposing lawyer had also pointed out, even a single day's delay can result in the cancellation of this bail. The Supreme Court was quite specific in implying that no excuses like translation of the transcript of the trial court in English for the appeal in the High Court will be used. This 2 months' time has been given to Jayalalithaa to file that appeal, failing which this bail shall be considered cancelled. But very importantly, also adding that Jayalalithaa, as soon as she steps out, needs to appeal to her followers to ensure that law and order is maintained and there is no untoward incident in Tamil Nadu.
Jaski, before we slip into a quick break, can you tell us exactly how the proceedings went about in court today?
Absolutely. The eminent constitutional expert and senior advocate Fali Nariman is the third very senior lawyer who was approached by Jayalalitha's team to represent them. First, of course, we saw Ram Jitmalani, and then Harish Alvi was also reportedly approached. But Fali Nariman argued in front of the Chief Justice that, first of all, the Karnataka High Court, while dismissing a bail plea, misunderstood or overread into what they were seeking. They said that we are seeking a suspension of the sentence, not a suspension of the conviction. But the Karnataka High Court order actually goes as per assumption that they were seeking the suspension of the conviction. Apart from that, they also said that the rule of law, as per precedent set by various Supreme Court judgments, actually allows Jayalalithaa to seek bail and to even get bail pending her appeal in the High Court. It was based on those primary arguments that the Supreme Court, Chief Justice's Court, agreed to grant her this conditional 2-month bail.